The jungles are getting on fire. The fucking rivers are flooding. Like things are happening. And I really believe that the only way to heal this planet and our relationship to it is to listen to the indigenous communities. They've been living with the planet for thousands of years, since the beginning of time, since the beginning of humans, whatever you want to believe. Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Naked Earth podcast. Today, I'm interviewing me. Hi, I'm Leo. Our Instagram accounts just got. And so I'm in this phase of what do I do with myself? What kind of content do I make? What am I actually putting out there in the world for people to see, for people to listen to make an impact? So I've been reaching out to some of my friends and family and asking, hey, can you help me just share the website, share a podcast? Can you help me get this message out there? And I know deep down that somehow this is a blessing in disguise. I have no idea how or why just yet, but I know there's a reason. You know when you know. Do I know that reason yet? No. Because this week I am feeling stressed. I am feeling frustrated. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling confused. I'm feeling helpless. And just seeing, how much Instagram really has an impact on my. It can be such a beautiful tool to connect, to create, to inspire, to share our message. And what I'm finding this theme of this blackout, I'm calling, is what is the message that I want to share? So it's inspiring me to do a solo podcast. And there's so many thoughts and there's so many things I want to share with you. I just got off a beautiful phone call with a friend. She wanted to make sure that the text message I sent her also wasn't spam and that I wasn't, trying to hack her account. But it led to a really beautiful conversation. And I haven't talked to this friend in a while, but she asked me, she said, so what are you up to now? You're doing cacao? Why cacao? If you've known me for a while, you've known we've been through some changes. I've been making flutes for the last 8 years of my life. I had some deep wounding in my hands, some kind of carpal tunnel, some kind of ligament issue, some kind of something that my hands hurt all the time. Maybe it's arthritis. I don't know. I'm 28 years old. I shouldn't be having these problems. So I couldn't make flutes anymore. And I've been wood carving and selling my art since I was like 13 years old, even younger. I kid you not. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about why cacao. Because talking to this friend really inspired me to share why are we even doing cacao in the first place? And I know it's like there's so many people out there that's like, hey, I went to Brazil or Mexico or Guatemala or Costa Rica, and I came back with 50 pounds of raw cacao from, made from the grandmother, and they're just reselling it and slinging it, and they do that and they go back and forth, and there's not really anything wrong with that when they're buying it from beautiful people who are making it in a good way. And then there's people who take cacao, like Hershey's and all of these other big chocolate companies. I don't want to name too many names and then get hacked on here. But, and they take cacao in the cheapest way possible and they burn it and they refine it and they add all this sugar and they do everything they can to it to squeeze the most profit out of it. That's not what we're doing either. I'm wanting to find the natural between the two where I can help you and help people have this beautiful medicine of cacao in their lives more frequently and in a way that makes it more accessible and spreading the medicine of the beautiful cacao in a way that might feel a bit intimidating to people. Receiving a whole $40 pound of cacao, like you don't know what to do with it. And even for the people that love the raw cacao, but you don't want to take a whole brick with you when you are going to these places, or if you're traveling, or if you're doing van life and things like that. And also, deep, deep down, beyond the cacao, since I was a kid, I always had a dream to replant the forests and help indigenous people. I grew up with not a whole lot of resources, and a side effect of that was we had the same movies on DVD that I would watch over and over and over again because we didn't have cable or anything, and it was a blessing because I watched Planet Earth and the History Channel over and over and over again, falling in love with the intricacies of the planet, of animals and the different kinds of plants and the different kinds of environments that our planet holds, all from a TV in my dusty bedroom in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And I did that and watched that till I was really like maybe 13. And also on the History Channel, learning about indigenous people and the real history, beyond Christopher Columbus. And it just sparked this urge to travel and to see the world and to see different cultures and to see the environment. And the last 10 years of my life, I did just that. I saved up every last penny that I could from any job, mostly Starbucks. I was a coffee guy. Still love my coffee. You're not going to take that from me. And I saved up everything I could, and I wanted to see the world. It started with a trip to Arizona, and I saw the Grand Canyon. And for the first time in my life, did I see something that truly took my breath away. And something in me was hooked. I wasn't going to settle for anything less after that. And then I saved up and went to Costa Rica for a month, and I fell in love with the jungle and the people and the animals and the rivers and the trees. And I just kept going. I saw different places around the states, California, the big trees and the redwoods. Ah, the redwoods. To even seeing Colombia and the beaches, the golden beaches, and the people and the different cultures, and to even getting to explore Europe through Italy and Switzerland and Scotland, and seeing so many things in my life that people would give anything to see just one. And I've been incredibly blessed through my entire life. And I know that it's been for a reason. And now that I feel like I've checked off three-quarters of my bucket list at 28 years old, and I've been a business owner, I've been an entrepreneur, I've never been stuck in that 9 to 5 grind because I always said no. No, you will not take me. I would rather be eating ramen noodles every single week and follow my dreams than be told when I can go take a piss or go to the bathroom or go visit my family and friends on vacation. And so here we are. We've made so many shifts and patterns. I have a beautiful wife, amazing, incredible wife, Alyna, who is just as devoted to this as I am. And I've prayed for a partner like that for my whole life. I knew that my life purpose would be deeply interwoven with my work. And I knew that I could not be with somebody that just didn't and couldn't meet me in that depth. And I'm so grateful. And we've traveled together. And this last year, we've gotten to spend 6 months in Costa Rica, living there, really getting to know the jungle, even the scary parts of the jungle. There were several times where our cabin on the river experienced flash flooding, where the river rose 40 feet in a matter of 30 minutes. And it was terrifying. But we also experienced the beauty of the hummingbirds coming to visit us every morning on our porch and the motmots coming to whisper mysteries into my ears and soaking in their colors with my eyes, and countless of blue morphos flashing their intuitive mysteries at me on walks, and toucans clucking in the trees. And we didn't really socialize much. I'll be honest. It was 6 months of Alyna and I together, driving each other a little crazy. But the one social event that we did do totally changed our life. This is the point in the podcast where I'm inviting you to be a part of this movement with us. If you're tired of leaving your ceremonies at home, we are making this travelable cacao for you. Plus, $1 from every single purchase goes to support the Boruca tribe in Costa Rica. Pre-order now at nakedearth.art and be a part of real change. And this was, I believe it was National Indigenous Peoples Day. And I just decided to check the group chat, the WhatsApp. There's like a WhatsApp of like all things going on in the area. And I saw this event and it said, meet the Boruca people, Q&A and a ceremony with the sacred spheres. And I was like, oh my God, Alyna, this is tomorrow. It's like $20. Let's just go. And it was at like 7 in the morning. We had to meet them. And, it was out of our comfort zone. We were definitely hermiting in the jungle and just going within and exploring and getting clear on what we want and who we are. We go to this event, and a little bit of a backstory. I knew about the Boruca tribe in Costa Rica for a long time because the Boruca tribe are really known for their masks. If you've ever gone to Costa Rica, you've seen these big masks that, are just wild. They're carved out of wood, the balsa tree. And the history of it is when the Spaniards came and colonized Costa Rica, the Boruca tribe were one of the few that were actually able to protect themselves and protect their land and their customs through these Boruca masks. They would carve these masks and they actually went and scared the Spaniards because the masks were kind of scary, and they now have a day, they call it the Dia Dia de Diablo, I believe, but the Day of the Devil, where they dressed up in these masks and they scared the Spaniards away. And so they're one of the few tribes that has been protected and hasn't lost as much of their culture as other tribes have across North and South America. And was actually in contact with one of the facilitators of one of the tribes. There's like a museum where you can go and visit and spend a day. I wanted to spend like a week or so with them and carve my own mask and meet them and talk with them. But you know, XYZ happened and it just didn't work out. So then here we are back at the event, Indigenous Peoples Day. And I'm like, okay, awesome. This is the opportunity to get to meet the Boruca tribe and talk with them and hear their stories and see their culture. And it was such a beautiful day. We started out by going to this museum of the spheres. And in this museum are full of these stone sculptures, stone carvings, and these giant, perfectly carved stone spheres. And there's only a few left because the Spaniards thought that for some reason the spheres were filled with gold, and so they destroyed all of them. But Maria, but Ana Iris, the matriarch that was leading this tour and guiding us from the Boruca tribe, she was sharing with us that these spheres hold the frequencies of different ceremonies and different intentions in their Boruca culture. And so we had this opportunity to even go up to this jaguar sculpture. It was a big stone and it was carved like a jaguar. And she showed us all how to we put our hands into a spiral and then brought them to our heart and then spread that energy upwards to Great Spirit. And everybody in the group, there was maybe 50, 60 people in this group. We all got to do this with the Anairis. And when I did this, it was this ancestral feeling in my bones of my connection to my ability to carve wood and stone and seeing, somewhere along the line, my ancestors did this. And I know because I can do this. I can carve stone. I can carve wood. I can carve these things and make these things, and very few people can. And following this jaguar experience, we went outside to this field of 5 spheres. And we all had a ceremony where about maybe 5 to 10 of us at a time would hug this. It was a giant sphere, like huge. We hugged this sphere and all together around, and we again put our intentions into it and left it up. And I remember doing this and just seeing all these beautiful colors and hearing these beautiful sounds. We're in the middle of the jungle and barefoot with this beautiful elder and all these beautiful people around us that actually care. And following this experience, we then got to go to their village, their home, where their maloka is, and they fed us beautiful food and their sacred drink with corn. And we got to sit in their maloka, and they had an open Q&A. It wasn't a ceremony. It wasn't pay $3,000 and go drink ayahuasca for 7 days and then forget about your problems and then go back to work. It wasn't, come have hape or nothing. It was just 4 grandmothers and 50 people and a translator. And we could just ask questions. And they shared so many stories of where they came from, where they've really gone through so much to heal their wounds with people that are not them. And to realize that everyone holds the spark of love in their heart and how passionate they are to teach us. They want to teach us how we can be more into our hearts. They want to teach us how we can be better people. They want to teach us their ways when we are in integrity and can do it in a good way. They want us to learn because people are forgetting, people are dying, we're losing this knowledge, these cultures, these practices, and this beautiful people are opening their hearts and their land and their wisdom to us. And it just touched my heart so much because I hear so often in the communities, in the States and in Europe and anywhere that's not indigenous that no, I can't learn. I don't want to do this because I don't want to appropriate. I don't want to disrespect. And I really believe, hearing from Anaides and the 4 grandmothers and many other elders that I've talked to over my life, that it's not the time for pride. It's not the time to be prideful about not wanting to appropriate and not doing these things. It's like we need to learn these things now before it's lost. The jungles are getting on fire. The fucking rivers are flooding. Like things are happening. And I really believe that the only way to heal this planet and our relationship to it is to listen to the indigenous communities. They've been living with the planet for thousands of years, since the beginning of time, since the beginning of humans, whatever you want to believe. And they're still here. They're not gone. And we can learn from them. And so, how this ties into me building a business with my wife, I really believe that business, when done right, can make some of the biggest change in the businesses have the ability to give money and funnel money in certain areas, like large amounts of money, not just, a purchase that you make for $20 that has some impact, good impact. But when businesses can help systems in a way that benefits all, I really believe we can make real change in the world. And during this meeting, this Q&A with these elders, somebody asked, how can we help you? Do you need money? What do you need? And they were saying how, yes, they need money, but because they're indigenous, they can't really open bank accounts, and because they don't have like the Costa Rica version of a social security or like an ID number and these things. And so they're kind of lost. They need help. And so they have some beautiful people there that are helping them, get on social media and get the word out and trying to get funding. But the country isn't helping them in the way that they say that they. And one tangible thing that I heard them share was that they needed a new roof for their maloka. And they said it's going to cost $3,000. And I just looked at Alyna and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's attainable. That's a real number. That's a real impact we can make. I'm such a dreamer. I'm a visionary. I see the big picture. I can see us purchasing millions of acres of land and forest and leaving it the fuck alone so it can be, we're giving it back to indigenous people to care for it the way that it's meant to be to help restore our ecosystem. This is a huge goal and it feels unattainable. But when I heard Anairi say, we just need a new Maloka, it's $3,000. We want to build this school, it's going to be X amount of dollars. That's one step. One step to having, for them to have a place where they can teach people these things. Having a school, another step that they can help teach people. Even building communities where I can help find volunteers and people that want to come and learn and facilitate groups to come and learn from them and then bring it back home and start a farm in your yard with similar farming practices that they use and similar asking the land permission before you build stuff, like the basics. And I just feel so passionate about all of this. And that is why we're making cacao and why we're going to be selling cacao, because it's a first step. It's not about the cacao. It's about bringing money from one place to another place. And we found a beautiful partnership with other people that have the same dreams as us that already are in connection with farms that use polyculture farming, which means they're growing their cacao alongside other plants such as mangoes, rubber trees, avocado trees, so that the soil stays enriched. Because when monocropping farming happens, which is what you see all the time in the United States, with rows and rows of corn and orange fields and like just where it's just one plant across so many acres, that depletes the soil because it's just soaking it up and there's nothing else to add to each other. And I really want to support more of this in our agriculture on a greater scale because we all need to eat. People are not going to stop buying chocolate. People are not going to stop buying foods, imported foods, and things like that. But if these foods that they're buying are grown in a way that doesn't deplete the soil, I think we can make an impact. I don't know. I could just be thinking of stuff that doesn't make any sense, but honestly, I really believe that we can make an impact. And so, with this cacao, $1 from every purchase is going back to the Boruca people. I know it's small. It's just a start. Just to make this thing is like thousands of dollars and having to get people to design the labels and having to actually get it made and buy the packaging that's biodegradable and doing this in a good way is taking time. It's taking a lot of time. If I just wanted to go and buy any kind of cacao and slap a label on it, we would have been selling it 2 months ago. But that's not what we're doing. We're building a system and building a way that you can have easy access to heart medicine without harming people or the planet. It's not too much to ask for. It's not too much to give, but there's not enough people doing it. Ah, so here we are towards the end of this episode. First solo episode. Thank you for being here if you made it this far. Thank you for listening if you made it this far. I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in through the nose. You can make a difference. Your dreams are one choice away. The things that you dream of and are inspired by are not placed there for no reason. Do not be discouraged by the news and the state of the world. Do not be discouraged by the violence and the fear. Come back to your heart and know you're here for a reason. There are people like you out there, like me out there. Naked Earth is a place for the people that want to live a raw life, for the people that want to enjoy life and still make an impact. We do not need to suffer to make an impact. Life is about enjoying friends or family, food, water, experiences. Life is to be lived, not watched. I invite you to do something today or this week that makes you feel alive. Could be small, could be big. Do something for you. Thank you for being here.